out of my head, and to see Sea Drag end in the same place would be unbelievable. It would be insane. I don't think it's going to happen again.
There's a common word we like to use, Chief, and it's heartbreaking, you know, and my heart definitely feels in that regard. You know, 216 to 225 people were watching that live, and it's absolutely crazy to see. But yes, we are seeing Pig on the dredge, who's going to be taking the first chase of the match onto no score here over at this top 11 side of the map now. We're going to be getting hit through this pallet, unfortunately, slapping it and stunning it in the killer's face. But a tag this early is pretty good for the killer. Now the remnant being placed at the other side of the window is going to spell a down. Unfortunately for no score, he is going to be going down fairly early, and he's going to be cooked. And I'm not too sure if we bought pain resistance to try. I didn't even see what build we bought as far as killer goes. Yeah, we did bring pain resistance, but I don't think there is one around. We have access to ruin, eruption, and corrupt intervention, so not your stock standard stuff that you usually see the dredges bringing around this time. As far as the season goes, I mean, you tend to see a lot more snowball builds and a lot more aggressive builds, one that don't particularly involve corrupt intervention, but more so, more totem perks and whatnot, you know. But we do see the killer instinct down there over at that bottom 5 here. It is Ivy who's pre-left the generator, now holding the check spot of the long wall, but Pig's not going to want any of it, just really wants to take advantage of that ruin and just scare the survivors off the generator now. We have Thomas just kind of set up for it. Very safe in a position that is close to the window there if we do need it, but again, Pig is just playing extra territorial around this hook. Now, going back to the unhook, he's probably going to want to get his tunnel out as soon as possible, and, you know, no score, really trying to make as much distance as he possibly can to last as long as he can while the survivors in the background get those gens done. About 50% on Ivy's gen and 75% on A71's gen, but No Score has access to that God Filler over at 11. He's going to be pre-dropping that and making all the way down to 9 here, and with a quick teleport, we can be seeing another quick down onto No Score, but Pig opted to go and interrupt over at bottom 4 here. He's going to be taking chase onto Ivy, and he isn't going to be getting the tag. He's going to be dropping that God pallet very nicely there, and he's going to buy himself a little bit more distance, so I'm not too sure. We've dropped the tunnel out here, Chief, and I'm not too sure why we've done that, but it's definitely a play.
No, I mean, yeah, it is a play. I will point out that I think not tunneling in an indoor set is typically considered to be the better play, especially if you can get a few quick hooks, especially on the dredge where you have, you know, field recorder Nightfall at the very start of the game, and it's, you know, a whole bag of worms that you have to deal with at the very start for your survivors, right? It makes the early game so difficult. You have to play it so carefully, and unfortunately, you know, did see No Score go down in the middle of that, not get a pain res hook, but a hook onto him nonetheless, which you did touch on. Pain res not commonly seen. It hasn't been gotten effect just yet. We know they are all around this side of the map. We do see this one at bottom 3. We know there's one top 2 and top 5 as well. I think the other one was bottom 6, so definitely not favorable RNG for Pig, and it's exactly why it's not a common perk. But, you know, things that we do commonly see are very quick downs, teleporting around, abandoning tunnels, and getting a bunch of tags, and we've done exactly that. You know, we left No Score. He was reset, but Ivy was tagged in return, and Thomas was tagged and obviously put on the ground. Finally, a pain res will be applying. Nightfall has also just started, so Pig is in a pretty good spot right now. He's going to be bouncing around trying to find some survivors out, and he's found 2 of them. That's Austin and Ivy resetting top 1. That reset has been caught out. They're not going to get to finish it in time. Pig is right on top of Ivy. He's going to potentially be on the ground. I don't think we make any resource. Yeah, we don't. That's him on the ground. Thomas on hook still. We see that No Score's on his gen. Austin is rotating for the hook, but if Pig catches on, he doesn't just in time. I was going to say he might be able to interrupt that hook that unhook very quickly, but he does not. He's just going to take another pain res. This will slow down our gens just a bit more. No Score's gen there, we did just see get hit by it, and we're going to be right back into chase onto Thomas. So, Hunter, what do we have to do now? Because personally, I think we just need to see somebody last in chase and honestly just have us triple split gens once we get Ivy off the hook.
Yeah, I mean, you do still have access to Ruin in the trial, and it's actually doing bits right now. Maybe getting rid of that might help. Pig is going to be teleporting back to the hook up here, though, and he's going to be intercepting this unhook momentarily. Now, they've evaded everything, which is a plus side in the favor of our survivors. We are going to be teleporting towards this, like, the top 12 side of the map, but ultimately going on the other side to the top 8 and emerging through those lockers. We do see someone over at top 12, but not going to be chasing there. We're going to be trying to cut someone off here at the bottom rotation of 11. And we do spot out over at 10. no score. Yeah, Sprint Burst in hand is going to be trying to make 10 to the best of his abilities here. Does have a filler pallet over here to be working with. Now, sometimes the spawns have been a little bit more consistent this time around. I'm pretty sure we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Chief, but it's nice to see the RNG back on par as we do see no score just drop this 12 pallet here. Evading that tag very nicely. They're able to make a way over the pallet without being hit. Tremendous work from no score. Is now going to be playing the standstill mind games there with the Remnant in place, but ultimately getting tagged through that. Not much you can do there when you're on the other side. You just kind of have to try and play through the Remnant. If you get tagged, you get tagged. At least he has the health state to spare. He's going to be going down to 4 now. Just doesn't really have a lot to work with. There's this very weak pallet, but he's opted to greet it instead. I'm not too sure if top 5 is still in effect, and it is, but I don't think we make it with a quick wing there. Yeah, just before we make the pallet, we are going to be going down. This is access to, I don't even think this is a, oh, this might be a pain resonance. We had 2 stacks, and I do believe this is one of our survivors that we haven't used pain resonance on. As this was our first down over at top 9 at the start of the match. Yeah, look at that pain resonance, bam, and there it is once again, ladies and gents, just tanking away at the generators here. So they're still really struggling to get the next generator procced as far as time goes. But Chief, you are correct. There were 3 split in there. It is probably the best play, but at the moment, Pig's just holding up the match very well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Pig's managed to get a lot of pain risk value so far. That's normally something you don't see on a mid-witch set, but I mean, hey, he's gotten downs in the right places. He's also getting tags in the right places, catching Ivy out completely off guard there. That's a free tag at top 1. Speaking of free tags, we have swapped a health state onto Austin, effectively a free tag, but in return, no score is healthy. That was the FTP, and he has sent it away. We did follow, unfortunately, the wrong scratch marks. That was A71 heading into Courtyard. We saw the blood just very shortly, but we've decided to leave both of those survivors alone. Ivy was working with Gen at 1 once again. Did push him off it, but we did not get a tag. Instead, we've headed back over to bottom 4 to find no score once more. Unfortunately, once again, I don't think no score is going to be able to make the pallet God 5. The pathing just eludes him. It will be a free tag on top of it. He's going to send it towards 8 now, and if this God pallet is here, it's unfortunate because despite the fact it is very strong, it is able to be played around as the dredge. But instead, I think no score didn't want to take that risk. We've decided to hold distance around room 9. We've had Thomas come to take a hit for no score, keep him in the trial for as long as possible. And to buy our survivors a bit extra time, we do now have God 5 to play back to. Luckily, for our survivors as well, they have managed to pop 2 gens in the background, down from 4 to 2. Beautiful stuff. No score just needs to last a little bit more time on this pallet. He wins that 50 there. Pig teleports back a bit too early. No score wins it and is able to play back into Courtyard. We have a few pallets here. We have this little mini pallet gym on the 6th side of it. We do get to place a Remnant. We see Ivy coming in to take a hit. All we've got to do if we are no score is hold distance around, but not enough time. Ivy can't make it there to take a hit. That's going to be no score exiting the trial, and I think all of our progress is about gone, although give and take for Pig right now. We do have our tunnel out secured. This will be him exiting the trial at 2 generators remaining, but we did just lose Ruin, so the 3v1 is going to be that fair bit easier for our survivors, and the gens aren't looking all too bad. We do see that gen at bottom 8. We saw top 7 piano room. We have top 12, and we have bottom 5. So, ooh, actually, they're not that great. We do have a 3 gen on the bottom side of the map. It's going to be quite easy to hold, especially once we start breaking locks on those lockers. So, Hunter, bit worried. We could end up with a 4K1. It still could be out, though.
Everyone in a full health state at the moment, though, so, you know, definitely still within their grasp for 4K1, but we are going to be getting the tag now on the side of A71, now forced all the way over to 8 here, so our killer deciding not to play Chase there, trying to play the hits, and Pig just going back on Gen Patrol, does manage to find the scratch marks onto Ivy at the top of 12, but has opted to go on the other side of the map here and try to catch out anybody working these bottom side generators, and so far, no good. Still playing very stealth-like. A71 back healthy in the trial here. They were resetting at this bottom 9 section of the map, so gonna be kicking this generator, getting our Eruption in after Ruin has been broken. That gives us access to Eruption. Therefore, we are able to use it now and hold these generators very nicely now. You know, once Ruin's gone in the trial and you stop like getting pushed off generators and losing all progression on your generators, like Eruption is now going to take into effect where if Pig can keep up the pressure and get the downs, it'll be even worse to some degree. But nevertheless, we are going to be following up here. A71 back in chase over 8 is going to run to 10. And now, I'm not too sure if he has too much to work with here. He does have this nice filler palette, but after this, not a whole lot. Played a little too greedy, though, is going to be just getting swung and hit through that. And now Pig back on that generator over at top 12 playing extra territorial, and this is exactly how you have to play in a scenario like this if you're able to hold the 4K2. I mean, we said 4K1, it's definitely still doable for 4K2 on the side of Pig, and now just forced up here at the top 3. We're not falling for any of these wacky mind games on the side of Pig. He's just going to be eating that tag. His Ivy now forced all the way to the bottom side of the map here. We're going to be interrupting any generators here over at bottom 5 if they are being worked, but I do believe that it was top 9, if I'm not mistaken. We are going to have access to balance landing into the courtyard there, and Pig following up. That we haven't made enough distance. We do have a body if we need it, but I don't think we're going to waste it. Yeah, Thomas is just... Wait, they're trying to reset. Oh, it's looking a little bit ugly at the moment here, Chief. I can't lie, as we do take that down and that hook onto Ivy here. We're playing extra slow for the reset. You know, Pig's looking extra dominant here. I don't think he'll allow any unnecessary progression. He's just... Once getting that hook, is traversing through the lockers, is just checking on all these generators. It just kind of leaves the survivors on the back foot. I guess they can reset in downtime like this where they know the killer is back on gen patrol and just patrolling the hook, trying to slow the game down, and he's done a very good job at it. But yeah, where do they go from here? They're just kind of caught at a loss at the moment.
Yeah, what's really important for them right now is obviously being able to wait out Nightfall. If they're able to get Ivy off that hook for free, even better. I don't think that's going to be able to happen, unfortunately. I think if Austin is found right now, Ivy might be dying on that hook, and we might play for the 4K1. But no, look, we've just managed to leave. We're bottom 12. We are still near this hook, but Austin was not found. He might even be able to trade. That would be best case scenario. Honestly, you kind of just can't allow Ivy to die. A 2v1 against the Dredge is so difficult, but I don't know. Also, trading is going to be putting you in a very sticky situation. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario at this point. I think the best case will be, like I said, playing for that 4K1. You really want Austin to be baiting this hook, sorry, not this hook, this chase after Ivy dies on hooks. That way Thomas can pop his gen, but Pig isn't going to be falling for it. He's already back to his gens. We're checking bottom 5 first. Thomas is on bottom 8. He's going to be venturing away. No exhaustion to play around. That build is dastardly if you're the one in chase, but hopefully he will be able to do enough if Austin is to be able to get on a gen and last for it. But I mean, look, this is really where the game is at right now. There's no possibility of outs. There really is not. You just have to get one gen done. The only gen that's realistically going to pop is 8 because it's the one with the progress. And if Thomas is going to get chased around it, it's going to be really hard for Austin to get on it. And if Thomas isn't going to, if A71 isn't going to rotate for that gen, he needs to work a gen from 0 to 100%. That's a 90-second commitment. Thomas needs to not only last that entire time with no exhaustion, that's already a very early tag as well. He needs to not allow Pig to leave, and unfortunately, as we have seen, we're stuck at this pallet 11. We do have a remnant placed. Thomas is going to win that 50 though, so that's very fortunate for him. He needs to win 50s on this pallet for a very long time if he wants to secure this result. The vault back is not going to be enough though. That's him on the ground. Austin is going to rotate off. We're going to slug. He is right close to be able to getting it, although unfortunately Pig was apparently all too aware. That's him been spotted out immediately. So I do think this will be the 4K2 secured Hunter. I'm not too sure how Austin is going to recover the game from this position. And honestly, very well played by Pig. His start was immaculate. He got a very quick down into a few free tags, and it really was just too hard for Adolescents to recover from. To get those outs that I wouldn't say we're expecting this killer is a 4K1 demon in this league, but very well could have seen.
Yeah, definitely. Pig read the game plan of Adolescents and just played the exact opposite and just counted everything. I mean, when you look at the endgame scenario, you're right, you couldn't leave Ivy to die, but what could you do when Pig just played so territorial and so well in that regard? I mean, after just forcing the what am I trying to say? After, Ivy just being sent away from the trial and exiting, it was left to the 2v1, and there's just not much that you can do in that scenario. Pig is now going to be taking the final stages of the match here, and that is going to be chopped up to the 4K2, and it is more amongst the average of what you've been seeing this season, 4K2, 4K1, even 4K3s sometimes, but, amongst these couple of weeks that have been passed, we did see previously, I think Adolescents had a Dredge set last week, and they got the 4K, they did end up winning it because moving into more recent events, we do see our survivor spawning bottom side of the map here now. We do see Geztrix over at that bottom 9, dropping from top 9. Oh, sorry, top 6. Sorry, bottom 6 now, dropping from top 6. Is going to be going through those lockers to catch anybody off guard. We do see the killer instinct over at bottom 8 here. It's going to be Lin first up in chase, and Myra Myers is going to be a first chase to take. So Geztrix going to want none of it though. He has decided to leave and now chase effect here over at top 10. And now we do have access to this filler pallet here, but we're going to be greeting it very nicely. We have access to this window. Bam. Not going to be getting any sort of tag there, unfortunately, for our killer. And now we do have access to this meat pile pallet as well. We see in the distance somebody over at mid-6 on that. Ruined straight away. That's crazy. If we're able to get Ruin gone this early, it's going to be detrimental for Geztrix, especially in the 4v1 at the moment, let alone the 3v1. But going to be taking a nice early tag onto effect, or a reasonable tag, I guess, within reasonable time, and we're just forced over to 8. Now, does he commit this or does he leave? He has one more chance to leave, and he's guessing himself. Look, he definitely wanted to leave, but he's just said to himself, ultimately, it's probably within my best interest to continue on the chase here, and I'm glad he just decided this, because with a quick, good remnant placement, he can get the down at this pallet. But it's been slapped in his face, and effect has made all kinds of distance all the way down to bottom 10. Does have access to bottom 11 too. Geztrix is going to do none of it. He's going up to top 6. He says, screw that, I'm not chasing that. He's going to try and chase something a little bit more favorable, and we do catch out somebody here over at the stairs, over at bottom 5 infirmary room even as well. Sakuta's already pre-left that nicely. He's evaded every single bad scenario that it could be possibly imagined. And Lin, with sprint burst in hand, just has access to the get out of jail free card. You see the scratch marks leading to the top side of the map as a result of it. So Geztrix back over at that bottom side here in the lockers. Yeah, wow. Good start from Chinese Dragons here, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think effect really should have been committed for that long, and I find it quite funny, because what I wanted to touch on with Geztrix is, you mentioned we don't see him play killer very often in 4v1. We don't see him play killer in OSL, I think, ever. I think this might be his first killer game in OSL history, which is honestly really shocking, considering he is obviously an exceptional world-class player. There is no doubt about that, especially when it comes to talking about his survivor, but killer is something he does in 1v1. He's obviously another exceptional 1v1 player. He's known for his 1v1 abilities, and it's where he shines on killer, but 4v1, we've never seen it before. So it's a bit interesting to me that he's stepping up to play the Dredge on such a grand scale, especially considering that, looking at the way he's played currently, obviously he's using his TPs a bit more proactively than what Pig was doing to cut survivors off, but his use of Remnant in chase has been pretty lackluster, especially as we saw on that pallet. I believe it was down 9, the meatball pallet. He tried to swing through it. Could have just played patient, put a remnant down, got the free tag. Instead, we gave effect cross-map distance because we greeted for a swing through the pallet and got stunned. Dredges don't do that. Dredge players don't do that. They think about their remnants. They'd rather do that. It's a mighty unfortunate swing to miss. Nears has hit that fast fault just in time beautifully, and also not proc balance, I don't think, because he does not have as much distance as I was anticipating, but... And we're breaking contact. This is what I mean. I don't think Geztrix is a comfortable Dredge. I think he's playing this because he's an exceptional mechanical killer player, but he very clearly doesn't look comfortable on the Dredge. And I don't know what to make of it. It feels really wrong. It feels really wrong watching this game with the game we just saw from Pig, because I don't think Pig is... it's Pig, right? But I don't think he's an exceptional Dredge either. I think he is just a phenomenal, world-class killer player that is exceptional at everything. But his Dredge is like a, he just plays very stock standard, will play 1v1 a lot, and that's how he plays the game. I think Geztrix are trying to do the same thing, and it's definitely not working out this time. But look, this is going to be a second hook of the trial onto effect. That's 2 stages, 1 fresh. He's brought in the same build and hasn't gotten any value out of Pain Risk. I believe he didn't even get a Pain Risk for its first hook. We'll just have to wait and see, because I'm not sure on that. But Nears has found him stuck on Piano Palette. This will be a tag as the Remnant comes on out. Finally, Remnant used in chase to guarantee a tag. Lovely stuff from Geztrix, but a bit too little too late, Hunter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're trying to say. I think it's just fundamental Dredge basic gameplay that just isn't really being showcased here in Geztrix's match. You know, yeah, like you had mentioned, the remnant placements just aren't there. He's gone for a tunnel out, which is something you said a little bit earlier on in the last trial that probably isn't in their best interest. They probably want to be playing their tags, playing their freshers and whatnot, especially when you have access to Pain Resonance. But when you look at Pain Resonance as a whole on this map, it is garbage. Some of the RNG is just horrid, and we've seen the exact same build being brought in, Corrupt Intervention, Eruption. Ruin's already gone, and it was gone at the beginning of the trial there, forcing, you know, Geztrix to kick generators, but doesn't have time to. And then ultimately, yeah, I mean, this build just is really showcasing how weak it is at the moment, but nevertheless, it's going to be this back in chase here, vaulting bottom 6, just making a lot of work out of a whole lot of nothing. It's just going to be running into Geztrix and going down, though, and that is going to be the next stage on to Neas. But, I mean, we're looking at beating the tie condition here now. You know, you tied on generators, but look at the match on paper, nowhere near as many stages as last game, and especially in the stage of the game as it is now. And now, yep, there it is. That's going to be the win condition, and who even singling a generator. Just, wow, oh my god, they've already popped everything. So, you know, we're looking at outs here, definitely. Whether it's 3 stages or not has yet to remain. We do see the scratch marks leading over into the hole here over at 12, and we're going to be, it's going to be Effectia, our Deathhook survivor. So ideally, if you're looking for best possible result, not the survivor you want in chase, we are going to be tagging and following up here. Geztrix just choosing to commit this. Istorposov looking for something else that will reward him with more stages. We are going to be pre-dropping this pallet here. Effect definitely still can exit the trial here if we get the bodies that are needed and whatnot, and we are going to be playing very nice micromanagement there, going to be evading that tag, running around the pallet once more here. Geztrix a little bit lost in the sauce, now decides to play the remnants here, is trying to block the doorway and the pallet at the same time, and does so successfully. And oh, the Chinese Dragons boys have just left their teammate to die, and it's a tragedy to see. No, in all honesty, it's exactly what you want to see because it's a 4-stage game. Nevertheless, an absolutely incredible game from our survivors, and unfortunately,
Pretty good for them in this set. It will come down to what Pig does in the reverse fixture, because Hunter, Pig isn't a confident Blight. Pig isn't usually one to like picking Blight. We see Chinese Dragons not love picking the S tiers, although they've played them a fair few times in OSL, so maybe that narrative needs to start changing a bit. But I do think this is potentially a set where Adolescents really, really might just be the favorites.
just might be. It's a, you know, it's a blight set, so like you had mentioned, yeah, the infamous S tiers being banned against from Chinese Dragons is just, you know, it's something that we've been throwing around for the whole season, and to see them slip a blight set is kind of crazy. But you know what, if it's an S tier set that is going to be allowed by them, and is definitely typically a blight set, as you know, we have seen them play Nurse, and the odds have been against their favor, especially against Kaido kids throughout the group stage. But nevertheless, going into more recent events, we are going to be see Lin taking the first chase over at this bottom side, making absolute work of these filler pallets here. Now we have fatigued here, and we are able to buy some distance if we do choose to do so on the side of Lin, but he's opted to just stay corner 5. But Geztrix leaving without a tag here, so yeah, he did have one more chance to leave, I guess, and he's opted to go to the middle of the map and all the way down to the top side once more to catch somebody off guard. This is going to be Effect here, just forced off his generators over at the mid side here. He's going to be vaulting that window back into mid, and we know how dangerous mid can be to be looping the killer at, but it is extremely dangerous if you do go down in the mid section of the map. That being said, there was no tag, no down, no nothing. We are going to be going back to Neas here, who's just forced to play the extra filler pallet on the outside of main, now forced to use the window after eating a tag there. We hear so much gen progress in the background. There's a couple generators just flying. Look at that, 3 splitting even, and we do pop one just before getting another tag on the board here, and it's going to be Sakuda in chase over at 9-0. We've opted to go back to mid here. We're catching out Neas over at 2. We bump fatigue once more, and we're playing the zigzag tile, and I know how detrimental this tile can be sometimes to a blight. You do have some things you can bounce off here, but look, you do just get caught here at the zags here. Like, it's, oh yeah, hypothetically you should be getting a tag here because it's considered a short loop. We've resorted to an M1. I know it's a little bit easier sometimes to play the power and get the down over at the short filler there, but that's just a common example of just the collider just getting a little too much. Just as things to bounce off, but you're just back bumping into everything and then ultimately not being able to get the down. And with the extra changes coming in, you know, putting Blight down to 4.4, putting Blight down to a 4.4, it's just going to be not doable sometimes. It's going to take him a little bit longer where he could potentially lose the 50. So, I mean, look, before I go on an absolute rampage about that, yes,
rampage.
we are going to be leaving that hook there and looking for the stealthing survivor over it too. It is effective, and he's played very nicely around the Z wall, not to be caught out, not to be found, just being extra sneaky. You could definitely see this man playing Splinter Cell or some sort of video game back in his day, but he's going back to the bottom midsection. Gestrix has just not spotted out our stealthing survivor for that pull. We have seen Security who's forced to drop 7, and he's going to be eating a tag again. The survivors on the front foot here, definitely looking for outs. I mean, one stage on the board, 3 generators remaining. Chief, take it away. They're playing absolutely incredible right now.
Yeah, they are indeed. We did see Effect get that unhook and the reset onto Nears in the background. I dare say we might already be in a position where we might need to consider dropping our tunnel out. Our tunnel out has dead hard. He's going to be able to last a fair bit in chase, and instead of chasing him, we found Effect on this filler at 2 that cost us so much extra time. That's our Deli survivor. If he's hooked, going to be problems either way, right? We really need to be a bit careful. His gen at 3 that we did see him working a while ago is still regressing. It's only at about 50%, but Sakuda is on another gen. I believe it might be 8. No, 8 is not even in the trial. I'm not too sure what he's on. No, he's on 7. Sorry, it's about 50% that I know. Lin's gen is also very low, but fortunately, Gestrick has gotten it down a lot quicker than he managed in the first place. So that will be also Eruption Aura onto Nears. We're going to slug Effect, assuming that it was the Deli player after seeing him get the unhook still being topside. And we're going to chase Nears, trying to get our tunnel out, but that stun does give us that bit extra distance over towards 10. He's going to make this filler just in time, I'm sure. And Gestrick is going to bait the drop, and unfortunately, Nears will be forced into 50s, losing that one, taking a tag towards main. He baits out 5 rushes though, so he does have enough distance to make it to something on main. Instead of committing this, Gestrix is going to try and cut him off. He's done that beautifully. That's going to be a dead hard coming out to get him to the pallet. Beautiful stuff from Nears. I was worried and thought he was going to go down right there, but I mean, perfect dead hard. Now, once again, playing 50s on the pallet will go down again, losing that, but second hook onto Nears. That's our tunnel out with his death hook secured, but not death hook, but being on death hook with this hook being, you know what I mean. He's got 2 hooks. You know, you got me. Either way, 4 gens are pop for it, Hunter. So this is not good. We need to not worry about Nears anymore.
No, yeah, we need to be looking for our fresh hooks. Look at this. Look at the split right now. There's one at the top, one at bottom, and one smack bang in the middle of it all. That's crazy split. That's the ideal split if I've ever seen one. But we are going to be getting that eruption onto that generator here over at 3, and we're going to go back on our gen patrol over at the top side here. We do see Lin just kind of stealthing her around the tile. There is now going to be slow vaulting the window even, and you know, Gestrix opting to leave once more. Really does want this tunnel out, I feel. Yeah, I think it's a little too late in the game for this, buddy, but you know, we've hauled us all the way to the bottom side of the map here. Survivors back on the top side, just going to be slamming out that generator. We see in the background, actually, no, wait, hang on a second. This is Effect. No, yeah, we are playing our freshness. Okay, no, this is ideal. This is ideal. We see Nears in the background getting reset there. I do believe that is Lin on that reset. Yeah, it definitely was over at that top side. Yeah, sorry, wait, what did you say? Wait, you had a medkit. Oh no. Wait, get the quick flicker around to Sakura here.
Sakura's on hook.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah, no, he was resetting with the medkit. I thought you meant he's down Deli or something. I was like, wait, hang on a second. I've missed the memo at the business meeting. Okay, I apologize. Anyway, Gestrix back to the top side here. Is going to be getting that quick tag onto Nears. No, Nears has just evaded it all and gone back to the backside of main, forcing Gestrix to take that kick onto the main generator, now breaking the pallet here, and that is going to be a failed blind from Lin. Going to be medium vaulting. Again, trying to use the backside window, but not quite making it. Is going to be just getting tagged. Going to the backside again. We're going to be cutting him off, just breaking the door there. We've caught him off guard. He's going to be vaulting that pallet just on the outside of main, going down ultimately. And this will be 4 stages at the very worst. Miss. It's ever so close. If only he knew his tunnel out was this close, but I mean, that's going to be Lin's first hook. Maybe you can get all freshes, you know, worst comes to worst. I think you're definitely looking at outs here, especially where the main are so high prog, and in the background, you assume that the generators are being slammed out by the remaining survivors in the trial. Yeah, you see Effect and Sakura just trying to slam out the logs here. Now, you ideally want Effect in this scenario, and you want to camp him out to all remaining stages at the very worst. Am I crazy for thinking he could come back from this, Chief?
No, Hunter. You're crazy.
You don't. I am. Okay.
You're
Okay,
a bit crazy.
Let a man dream.
Let a man dream. No, we've just seen Effect take that hit take. That's going to give Effect a bit more time in chase. He's not even going to be committed. We're just so worried about this Jenna main that's now being doubled. Lin was reset by second win. Him and Nears are definitely doubling. They're not going to pop in time. They're just opting to play for no tags. They're trying to get as many stages out the door. They know they can come back for this Gen in a minute. Sakuda and Effect will probably be doubling on the bottom side. And what I was going to say, Hunter, is can't really get Effect and camp him out. He's Delhi. That's where the problem really does arise. We actually see Sakuda get reset by Effect in the background. I'm sure they'll be on a Gen. Niaz does just enough hugging his way around that coal pile to not get tagged. Makes it back to main. We'll play the vault, the back vault now as well. Actually trying to jiggy about, get a bit sendy and avoid that tag, but to no avail. He will be playing this pallet at 10 for his life, potentially exiting the trial after this if he doesn't hit his dead hard, which we did see him do beautifully once already, but that's another. Oh my word, Gastrix, you gotta not be swinging at that sun. You gotta know. Just bait it out. That's that Gen on the bottom side of the map, potentially even Mame. No, it was the Gen on the bottom side popping. We're gonna leave Nears. We know we don't want this Death Hook serve. We're trying to find Effect, but like I said, that's Delhi. Our gates are bottom. If we hook him anywhere near bottom, he forces anything close. He's gonna be able to get out with his BT4 free. He's even been reset at this point. Sakuda mid 6, trying to play towards this gate at 7. Instead, taking the vault at Shek, knowing he can't give a tag away for free. It would spell some extra stages on the board. Gastrix has spotted out Effect though, I believe, so it's up to Effect now to last for as long as possible without giving a tag. That Gen at 7 is nearly open. I believe this is Lin, yeah, just heading towards the edge map to avoid this tag. Gastrix flicking around, nearly able to get it. We have to leave the gate. We're not going to get it open in time, so tag onto Lin. Effect is close by, trying to open that gate still, and at this point, it's going to be really difficult. The gate at 5 is being opened by Nears. Lin's going to have to play for his life on this jungle gym. He loses that 50. Unfortunately, that's going to be him on the ground. Instead of taking it, though, we're going to slug, heading back to this gate at 7. It's going to be opened by Sakuda for no tag. He runs into the map. Now, that's interesting. I don't know why we've done that. So we were out the door there, Hunter. I don't think we
ran back in the trial.
We ran back in the trial. I think we thought we weren't going to get the gate open, and we got the gate open. But we've left him, and we've looked for Effect. Effect's now at a gate that's open. Lin, is Lin on break? Can we get a quick look? Lin's not on break. Okay, so that's at least out of the realm of possibilities. We're now playing back to Lin. We know it's a beam. We don't need to worry about that. We're going to try and take this hook. I'm sure our survivors, we see Sakuda being reset by Nears in the background. They're going to play for this if they can. It's right next to a gate. Oh my god, we're actually dragging him 10. Hold on now. I didn't realize we'd be able to drag him this far. We have a close enough hook to make 10. Yep, beautiful stuff. That's going to make this save so much harder. He's so close to wiggling, though. My word. I mean, yeah, we're not even going to play for it. Look, we're just taking our stages out.
Correct locations, making sure that you're, unhooking at the correct times as well. But, playing the game, I think taking it a little bit slow after a very good first chase. We're on our way to having a good first chase as we evaded a tag from A71 going into corner 11, but we opted to leave Pig trying to look for something out of position, maybe a stealth on the edge map for the deli or whatnot, but ultimately leaving that as well. He's going to be getting a tag onto A71, and he's just forced main, vaulting the back side of main, and then back again on the other side, back to the pallet there. He's opted to leave. Pig has tried to swing through a pallet and get an egregious hit, but nothing of the sort will be happening to Ivy as he gets a blind that leads into a short filler just outside of that window there. And now Pig trying to get flicky with it. Does not connect. He's going to be connecting with the pallet though, and very nice drop from Ivy. And now forced to play the downstairs of main into the window there, but I don't think that we make the window safely. Yeah, just going to be eating yet another tag. Greeting the pallet there though, and Pig now decides to commit Ivy here over at the top side, and we got Eruption gone in the background. And if we look at the build currently from our killer, we do have access to a couple more perks. I'm not too sure, maybe we bought Wretched Fate, so maybe it was Wretched Fate. Questions, but I mean,
Not popped onto it.
Oh, sorry,
Gen's not popped. That's not how that works.
Sorry? Wait,
No, so
oh right,
he doesn't have Wretched Fate up. That was ruined.
Oh, no, yeah, it had to be ruined.
Yeah, he did cleanse the ruin, not Eruption.
Put me in a room, holy, oh my god. Okay. Oh, my bad, holy. I don't know what's happening with me today, but first look at the trial here. We're on to a good start for our killer, I guess, Chief.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. We've got our first stage before a Gen is popped. We've done better than what Gestrix did for our start, but we did lose Ruin. Like we just talked about seconds ago, we've also spotted Thomas out. We nearly swing through that pallet and get a hit, but that's a lovely stun to achieve. Unfortunately for us survivors, this is Deli. I don't think Pig was aware. Actually, I think he might be. He's trying to play 50s on this by faking the leave and coming on back. Nearly got that hit onto Thomas. He vaults just in time to avoid that tag. Maybe Thomas is going to go in for the trade. I think he might just be trying to get his Deli up. Yeah, going to play the filler close by and try to get the unhook right after. That's another stun. Beautiful stuff with Thomas. At this point, I think the trade is the most likely option. We're going to send it right on now for it. Yeah, indeed, that's going to be the trade coming out. Beautiful stuff. This will be our Deli getting up right away. So, might even be taking that. No, we won't. We are a bit too aware. 2 gens do also pop. We're not even worried about the tunnel out. Look at that, Hunter. We're just heading to the bottom side, trying to get some free tags. We didn't catch anyone out edge 4, so we've headed on back to Ivy, our tunnel out. And no, we're back at top mid. We're back at top mid there. We see Thomas on the ground now in our hands. Pig's going to take this hook. This is Deli. So, all the things considered, I think Pig's start maybe might not have been as great as we did just say. Look, 2 gens did pop for effectively our first chase, and some change at this point. We're seeing Wretched Fate being cleansed in the background as well. Ivy will be on top of that. This gen at 4 is being worked. We see Austin also slowly rotating up the map to get on another gen. Thomas can be left to sit pretty on that hook for as long as we need with Deli in hand. So, we kind of are in a really good spot, and you know, I think outs are still on the table. Ivy's also using that pallet cleanse, my word. Yeah, we cleanse pallets now, guys. That's the game plan. No, that totem cleanse to get his inner off, so that will be him reset as we take chase onto A71 towards Aiton. Tig doesn't really want much of it. He thinks all our survivors are bottom. No one's going to get that unhook, but beautiful stuff. Deli on the hook, and Gestrix, regardless, is already rotated to 1, so maybe, just maybe, he might be getting on that gen. He's going to use the hill to avoid this tag. Unfortunately, though, he slipped off the good part of the hill and fallen to the part where you get stuck, so the tag will come in anyways. Pig is rushed right back to him. That's lovely and funny to see. Fortunately, he isn't able to get that swing through the power. Gestrix is going to have to play movement around this. Both of them exceptional players. So who will win this movement battle? I think Gestrix might just be going down through that pallet. He's been smited, son, on the floor. My word, that's unfortunate. Also, we have just been made aware of someone's position at 10. I'm not too sure how. We did get a loud noise notification. I don't know what that was. But Gestrix on the floor, Austin now, and Chase Hunter. This is problems. All the good start we just had might be going to waste, but no. Pig's given us some time to get back into it. We're worried about the unbreak. We called it just in time. That's beautiful stuff. He's not going to be able to get away. That's going to be a hook onto Gestrix right on main yet again. Very strange position, isn't it, Hunter? I don't really know where this one's going to go.
Neither. I mean, I look at Pig's gameplay and I think he's in the lead at the moment. But then I look at the scorecard, and regardless if there's 2 survivors in the trial injured, there's only 2 stages on the board at the moment, and we're on our way to getting the 3rd generator in the trial prot. So, I mean, it could go either way. It really all just depends on the next passage of play for 60 seconds. A71 has to have a juicer chase, I would say. Now it does a little bit of jiggy there, but it doesn't quite work out. He's going to be going down at the corner of 11. So nice and far away from everything, all of the action. A little bit in our 3 gen though over at top side here. Look at that. We have access to 2, access to 10, and access to main. So Ivy ready for this sneaky fast pull here. Pig is so close. He probably even knows somebody's in this vicinity, but has opted not to check the rock there. And now, he definitely knows somebody's here, but hasn't caught them out yet. Maybe he's second guessing himself and he's going to leave, and that's just going to allow Ivy to get the free pull. He's really trying to bait out Ivy, but the patience is all too much. He's just really safe at this pallet. Doesn't care about any gens, doesn't care about the hook, only cares about the moment. And Pig has decided to leave entirely, thinking the coast is clear. Checking lockers even. We've gotten the pull there. Now he's gone back to the hook here, and he's getting caught in the rock there. Ivy's just made away. A71 is made out the way. Gestrix in the background slamming out that generator. Pig gone back to the bottom side. Is now kind of caught in the midst of everything in the middle between all the generators and all the chases that he could potentially take. A71's just going to get caught on the backside of main, and he's going to be going down, rendered useless at this point in time. Ivy still at a full health state, has decided to rotate around the long side of main. Now has access to this filler pallet here over at 10. He's going to be slamming it in Pig's face. There's not going to be a tag happening there. We've opted to slug A71 again, and I'm not too sure for whatever reason, but, you know, Ivy definitely can have an absolutely incredible Jiggy Juicer chase. Look at this gen pressure. We have to be extra careful here. Pig is now forced to go on gen patrol. He can't really worry too much about A71, who's just slugged behind main within the locker, and Geztrix is nowhere to be found. You're so close, Pig. He's kicking the gen. Does he gonna check the locker? No, he has left it entirely, and he's kicked the gen, and he's gone back to where the slug had potentially happened, back behind main. If he watches back this footage, he'll be kicking himself. He's trying to bait out. He was working the logs, but Geztrix is just staying in the locker there. He's not emerging anytime soon. That's gonna be top mid finished at the moment. So, look, all in all, 3 generators on the top side of main. You can only really be working 10 and 3 at this point. So Geztrix is going to be working 3, playing extra patient for it. I don't think you should play too aggressive, as we do see Pig rotating back to 3. He does see the scratch marks leading all the way into mid there, but it's going to be a different survivor. I think Geztrix is still somewhere to be found over at 3. He has the water tower, and he's left it entirely. He does have pallets over at 4 to be used, but we want none of it on the side of Pig. 2 survivors over at main, 1 in mid, just caught in the middle of everything here. So they've opted to go for the further gen over at backside 12. And now you do see 2 survivors here. One that was working mid moments ago, and the other one, Geztrix, who was just stealthing in the lockers and working that generator there. I mean, wow, this is incredible from the survivors. They definitely can pull it off. They can't afford to give up 2 more stages. That will be the tie condition. Actually, that'll be the win condition, because we have all fresh survivors hooked at the moment. So Pig definitely still has to get a nice down here. I mean, everybody's injured, and we have just 12 just ready to just pop anytime soon. Look at the pressure over at 2 as well. And Pig is now going to be forcing chase onto Ivy, who's pre-dropped outside of the main filler. He's got access to sprint burst. He's going to be making a way. Don't tell me Pig swinged that he did. Oh, no. And now we're rotating around again. The blind coming in. Geztrix has the gen ready, 75% of the way done. They're doubling, so they get it done in time, regardless if Pig gets a tag or not. He is going to be going in, catching them off guard here. That's going to be the tag onto Geztrix. Now, all he has to do is camp out Geztrix for the remaining stages. He is injured. He has access to main. He does have access to bodies if he does need an A71 on the backside of 12. And we do see Ivy ready to take the hit for when needed. Does take the hit there. Now is forced over into, maybe it's the gate over at 3 even. It doesn't even matter. I mean, hopefully the bodies just come in now. We are in fatigue at the moment, but the gate isn't done yet. And that's going to be Ivy on the floor. Pig now committing over Thomas. Thomas now forced over into the midsection of the map, and A71 just kind of caught over at main. We are going to be getting a little bit jiggy with it there. Thomas now over at main, middle once more after evading that hit very nicely here. After vaulting that pallet, I'm going to lose my voice anytime, Chief. So if you want to take this away from me, I don't really know what they should do here, but my oh my, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It is?
He hooks him. 5-4. They win. Pigs won.
Is it not 6-3? That was the last result. No, am I silly? Was it
5-3? Oh, it was 6-3. Wait, no, you're right.
6-3. No, we're 6-3. Oh my God! Holy!
Wait, okay, but no, but look, he's overcut. He's hit Thomas. Thomas has had to go to 12. It's not open. We're about to have rushes back. There's 2 people taking bodies. This gate is 99. Oh, you've blocked them! Wait!
Yes! Oh my God, they've done it! Again, Pig may be able to 4K this. Who knows? It has yet to show, but he's going to be spawning at the top side here, going towards the middle of the map now, really trying to get the game underway. And we did see last series, 2 Savage versus Kaido Kids here. Can we see the same particular upset? And it'll just be history in the making if we do, because, I mean, if we get a really good stealth, like we had seen, or I say that, and our first chases happened fairly quickly, then we were definitely on a good track there. But I guess Trick's unfortunately going to be getting tagged at that short filler over at that short 6 side. He's going to be pre-dropping the dumpster filler pallet there. We're going to be body blocking it from the side of Pig, and this has kind of forced Geztrix in an awkward position to where if he vaults the pallet, he's just kind of caught in between the pallet and the husk. And if he just doesn't decide to vault it, he's just going to go down like you've seen there. That's going to be our first hook of the game. If we look at the build, a lot different from what we'd seen last series. We see Corrupt Intervention, Eruption, Pain Resonance, and Wretched Fate. Wretched Fate not yet in the trial, as Chief did correct me last set that, you know, it's not how it works, Hunter. No, you are right. Correct, 100%. But we didn't get any Pain Resonance back, so Anywho, Pig is on his way for a good match at the moment, even though that we have about 30-40% on A71's gen and about 50 to 60% on Ivy's generator. Survivors, a little bit on the back foot here as we've interrupted the progress. We are going to be, unfortunately, losing the mind game over at the L, but winning the one at the T. We do have access to the pallet here, so just going to evade the first tag onto Thomas there, who's played a tremendous series. Is now going to be getting tagged just a little bit later on, and I think Ivy will just be wrapping for the pool, as he is not on a generator, and we do see A71 just trying to slam out wherever the hell he is. We do vault the pallet there, and do get the pool not as clean as we would have liked, but clean enough. That's going to be Ivy eating that tag, and that's going to be Geztrix back in our chase. It's going to be our tunnel out here for the match at the moment as it currently stands. He does make Shaq though. You know, that 15 seconds just coming to bite him in the ass. We do hear the champion of light. We heard the flashlight click. You know, it didn't really serve us too well, and we were just grunting and bleeding all over the place. So again, not really serving us too well, and that's going to be the second stage of the match there, Chief, for the result of the first generator procking. And I was going to say the second until we hopped on the generator and it got blown up in our face from pain res.
Yeah, I mean, look, we obviously did lose our tunnel out by opting to choose Ivy there, get a fresh pain res as well. Honestly, not a bad play considering we've managed to find both of our injured survivors immediately at 11. We might be able to get that down onto Geztrix. We predicted movement incredibly there. That was a swing as soon as he came through the window. It's like we knew what he was going to do before he even did it. Lovely stuff from Pig. That's a second hook onto our tunnel out secured at 4 gens. Ivy has just been unhooked. Thomas was close by, probably only ventured to about 9 by this point, injured as well. So bit problematic. We do see Austin resetting Ivy, sorry, at the bottom side of the map. Actually, they're at 3. So, good rotation there. They've been reset. We saw Thomas cleansing a totem to get that self-reset with Inner as well. I think he might have just been spotted out, though. I believe this is going to be Thomas, yeah, and that's going to be him on the ground as well. Eruption back on the gen at 11. A71 back on his gen. Ivy's rotated to the top side to get that unhook. Thomas will be getting hooked and pain res. I'm not too sure what this will hit. It will probably be 11. I think all of our gen progress might be gone at this point. I would be very worried. Austin there at 4. Probably on the most progressed gen now with those pain reses and the eruption proc. That's mighty concerning for our survivors. And look, if we find Geztrix now, I mean, I think the outs you talked about wanting to see Hunter might be completely out of the picture. And yeah, look at this. This isn't Geztrix. I thought we did just hear an injured survivor. It's actually Ivy who's going to be in chase yet again. He doesn't really have a lot to work with. We'll be making this pallet, but with phase back up, I think we're going to be just stuck here. Not much to do. Trying to win these 50s using champs to our best ability, but not to do enough. Finally on the ground. That's a second death hook survivor in the trial. Ivy and Geztrix both. Thomas finally being unhooked. Geztrix on this gen at 3, but Hunter, I'm really worried. I think this could be a really high gen 4K.
Yeah, with 2 survivors still injured in the trial, A71 going on the reset and both high proc gens being interrupted, where it potentially could have been 4K2 at the moment, looking like it's now looking like a 4K3. Oh my god. So Pig still doesn't really have a death at the moment, and there are still 4 survivors left in the trial with a lot of resources left on the map. You just have to turn the tides with an amazing chase. That's all that you really need. Pig is going to be spotting out Thomas here, so it is the man for the job back in chase over at the bottom side here, and has opted to leave everything entirely and go for something a little bit more further out in the distance, but has opted to double back there with a cheeky little crouch tech. But Pig is just going to be going back for the unhook. It's going to be Geztrix here in chase though, and he's going to be injured, so I mean, 2 HP in a dream right now. He's going to be stuck at the pallet there, and he's going to be getting slapped through it. We didn't even hold phase. We second guessed ourselves. We didn't hear the phase at all. I don't know why we just hesitated. It's just hesitation. And honestly, I think he was trying to play a little bit preemptively there, but ultimately just getting hit through everything. Maybe we even did enter the husk just for a little bit, enter the face just a little bit, and just got that swing. I'm not too sure if that was anything of the sort. Oh, I didn't even know he was a pain res. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That is gotta hurt. We see everybody just kind of in a position where I guess 2 survivors in the background are able to commit their generators safely. We see Ivy just smartly, preemptively leave, stealth around the edge map somewhere, and I think we might be looking at 4K2 Chief. Hopefully, if they can manage to get the generators done, they have to play extra slow though. And you do see Thomas just kind of crouch walking all the way in bottom 6, and we're back in phase once more. Crouch not working out that time. I think we've heard him breathe just a little bit, and we've just bumped into him momentarily. It's just going to result in a tag, and Thomas getting cheeky with it wins that one though. He's going to be faking the window vault here, but Pig did read it very nicely. Stopping at the window, playing a fake phase, trying to get it once more. Swinging at the Macca's drive-through. How you doing, buddy? What may I take your order? But we are going to be winning the first side of that pallet there. We're going to be missing it. Surely we vault the window into Shack. No, wait, hang on. No, never mind. We've played around the pallet and we've left Pig. Just getting a little bit worrisome there about the generators going back on Gen Patrol. We do see the reset in the background. A71 onto Ivy there. That is 2 survivors healthy left back in the trial. We do see Thomas ready again to use that inner strength value. I love to see it. Hopefully he doesn't get caught out now that Pig's rotating all the way to the bottom side here. We do see the Crow landing in a position. We see 2 Crows and they dobbed him in. And now he's caught. Again, shallow 6, does a little bit jiggy mind game then. Pig got lost in source for just a second, but it wasn't enough for Thomas to evade and escape all the way to the pallet. We're going to be interrupting this generator here over at corner 7 as well. It's going to be kicked very nicely. Pig taking control of the match again once more. Ivy ready to stealth for that fast pull and does need to do so, as you know, either you go for the hook or you go for the generator at this point. And if you go for the generator, you get the pull, and if you go back for the pull, you get the generator. So caught in a position here where he will probably lose this generator regardless, or the hook. Who knows? I mean, he's opted to put pressure on the generator just a little bit, but is entirely left to go back to his tunnel out. That's going to be Thomas off the hook via Ivy. And A71's just going to be slamming out. I think it was 3 he was working. I hope that it was 3, but Thomas is now forced to use his balance, landing over here at mid 3, over at the rock. Playing very patiently with it, and you love to see it. He's going to be making this pallet too. Pig going to be short phasing that swing, trying to swing through it, but doesn't get anything, and he's just getting a little bit frustrated there. Slap on the wood, yeah, screw you. I mean, Thomas is just left all the way to 11. He's just kind of sent it, and now Pig is just forced to follow up here. And A71 back on that double generator. Hang on a second now. How was there so much progression? Moments ago, that was nothing. And now Thomas doing a little bit of a moonwalk there back to the pallet over at the dropped bus, but ultimately going down just before it. That's going to be A71 and Ivy just completing that generator there for Thomas's death. So he's played incredible to be able to pull this kind of result. Pig now, I think he is getting a little bit antsy. He's not happy. He wanted the 4K3, 4K2, and you can tell in his gameplay with the way that he's just maneuvering his camera, just a few of the little preemptive moves he's been pulling out of the hat. He is getting frustrated, and rightfully so. Sometimes the pressure does get to you. Now, I would be mind blown if they managed to pull another generator out of this. When I look at the split, I say that it's completely undoable considering you have 11, mid 10, and Shack. I mean, A71, it can just work Shack. You know, you have the life to the window to deep 6, and you have Ivy just in the corner of 11. So they're in position. They're in a good position. They're in a damn good position. Ivy got the sprint burst too. So, Chief, maybe. I might be crazy. You called me crazy last game. And, you know, I think that was definitely called wrong. Honestly, it wasn't wrong, but I don't think I'm crazy here. I think if they play it correctly, they definitely can out this.
No, Hunter, actually, it ended up being me who was wrong. That's what I tried to say just then. I was wrong. They won. They did it. They did what I called you crazy for. Now, look, I think a 2v1 with 0 gen progress, despite the position we are in with exhaustion set up well, is impossible. They really should be. Pig can tag somebody and leave. You don't need to commit a chase ever. And even if you do, like, you shouldn't be lasting 90 seconds against the Spirit. You really shouldn't. So, look, it's going to be really, really difficult to pop another gen, but I think a 4K1, considering the start, is still a damn good result. It will just come down to whoever plays Killer for Adolescents being able to do the same thing. And, you know, against Sea-Drag, it's kind of always the survivors you need to be worried about, right? It doesn't matter how good of a result your survivors put on when your Killer needs to do even better than what we just saw from Pig, who, once again, is an exceptional Killer player. So, look, it's going to be really, really difficult, even with this recovery that we have seen. Unfortunately, Ivy has drifted away from 11, is going to head all the way to 6. I think Austin is actually just being set up for the hatch escape instead of working a gen. I think they knew all in all that a gen was never going to be popped. Ivy has managed to completely avoid that, by the way. I don't know how he's managed. He's jiggied all the way to 6, picked up the med kit in case he's left. That's going to be handy in the future. Save it for later, but probably not now that we're on the ground. We take this. Yes, we do. Austin's 5 is going to be heading over to Shack now. We're going to potentially see a hatch escape. So, Hunter, what does that mean for people who are not too aware?
It's tie condition. You know, if you 4K1 a side of the killer, doesn't matter because you'll lose the set considering you just didn't kill Austin or you didn't get the stages onto Austin. If Austin escapes with any stages and he manages to get out, Adolescents have the upper hand when if the next match is to be a 4K1. No, wait. I feel like Austin had that in the bag. I don't really know what happened there, but gonna be taking the final chase of the match here after pre-dropping the Shack pallet, and we're not gonna be able to re-stealth for the doors or anything. This is just gonna be the down here, so it's gonna be the 4K1 tie condition regardless. That's just upsetting to see. I honestly thought he had that there, Chief.
I thought he had it too. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I just gasped in shock. I'm surprised he didn't get that.
Look at what happened last match, but we're going to see our survivors spawning over at the bottom side here, and it's going to be Geztrix loading into the match. He is going to take ground over to the midsection, trying to see if anybody's crossing over to 5, and at the moment he has spotted our Neo, nice and healthy. It's going to be Sakuda with flashlight in hand, trying to make it as much distance as he possibly can. It's going to be sprint burst to our Veil, and that is going to be fixated as well. So, you know, stock standard build there for when versing Spirit. Very, very nice stuff. Going to be pre-dropping that bus filler pallet there. And, you know, just trying to break away his scratch marks just a little bit now. Notice has Geztrix gone back in the phase, and Geztrix just, yeah, this is really taking a toll onto Geztrix right now with the Champion of Light. He doesn't want any of that no more, and I don't blame him because it's, you know, it's playing in his head just a little bit. So back into the phase, checking over our Gen 7. So we see a little bit of proggy on it, but there is our survivor just caught in the middle of it, or it's going to be Lin eating a tag, just forced over to the Shack here, and now, you know, I think the days of like FTP at the Shack as far as Spirit set goes, it's just not really needed anymore. I was going crazy for a second because this is what it kind of reminded me of, but that's usually to preserve the deli, and I don't think, you know, being tier 2, there's going to be any deli involved. Well, I don't think, but I definitely know that there's going to be no deli involved because tier 2 balancing. But nevertheless, there's going to be a firecracker down. It's not going to be blinding Geztrix anything of the sort. I was going to call him Pig for a second, but there's going to be Lin and Chase here. Now greeting the pallet, he's going to be pre-dropping it and just rotating to the short side, ultimately going down as a result of it there. It's going to be a fairly quick down, all things considered. I mean, well, the HUD's a little bit bugged, so I can't tell the gen pressure at the moment, so as we get this hook here, we'll probably go on a little bit of a rotation to see what our survivors are doing. It seems like they're doing top generators there. I do believe it was over more towards 12 and 10 being worked. So Geztrix back into that phase is going to be interrupting 7 once again. And, you know, if he can get his tunnel out early enough, he's definitely well and truly capable of 4K 2ing. And it's going to be scary. There's going to be eruption propped onto that generator. That's going to be the Wretched Fate in the trial as well. Do have access to still 4 stacks of Pain Resonance, so nothing was slowed down, at least not yet, as far as everything else goes. I mean, you've kicked 7. That's going to be regressing just a little bit there. It does have eruption applied onto it. We do see effect going in for that pull there. That's going to be the second generator of the trial proccing in the background, and now Geztrix a little bit hesitant to either go for the tunnel out or go for the unhooking survivor. He's opted to go for effect here. That's going to be effect on the floor now. This could be potential Pain Resonance. That's going to be our totem in the background destroyed. So no more Wretched Fate in the trial, at least. So we are 2 perk Andy as it currently stands. We do see back on 7 is Neas, our ace, and Lin and I think Sakuda just both working 2 separate generators at the moment. So at this current time, I still want to say the killer is. I think the survivors are slightly more in the lead, Chief, here.
Yeah, no, I do think our survivors are definitely in the dominant position. Yeah, we do have 2 stages, but we do have 2 gens with decent progress. They're both about 50%. This one's nearing that 75 mark now, but Lin's gen was closer to 50. He's had to leave it though, being injured, can't sit it too aggressively, moving from 3 to 12, just trying to play safe. I'm sure that does mean Nias is close by for the unhook. Yeah, exactly. He will be getting it beautifully in time. Geztrix cannot make it back with his phase, so that will leave us to the bottom side. Effect's going to get out with his life as well, heading towards 5. Unfortunately, dying towards this gen at 3 that we knew was a bit progressed if he is to go down shortly, but does have this filler here to play around. Going to have enough distance NBT to send it to Shack. This is the Shack, guys. No, the boss at 3. We win the phase there, but I do think we don't make it back around to the pallet in time. We will die over the wall. That gen at 2 did pop. We saw actually Lin rotate to double with Sakuda and be reset. So lovely stuff. Effect has finally been second hooked after this does come through. I think it might also be a pain res, right, Hunter? Yeah, that will be a pain res hitting Nia's Gen at 8. So lovely stuff there, finally getting that out of the way. But you're right, I do still think the position is far better for the survivors. We are going to get down to 1 gen, potentially 4 effects hook. State, we will just have to see if Jestrix basically pressures that gen at 8, right? He needs to kind of get somebody dead and force a 3v1, but equally, he does need this gen not to pop before that happens. So you kind of are in a bit of a sticky situation, right? You can't let this hook come out for free. You really need it to either be a trade or to not be saved at all, but you really, really cannot afford to have this gen at 8 pop, especially now that I would assume they're probably doubling it. They're
Yep,
not,
there it is.
but it does pop.
Wait, they weren't doubling? No, they won't. Well, now they're going to be doubling the final generator at the very least. But yeah, that's going to be the tie condition as it currently stands. Now, Effect still has a little bit left to go on the hook, and if Lin can manage to unhook this unscathed or at least get a very clean trade, that's going to allow the survivors in the background to work that gen, you know, under no pressure. Doesn't really matter. Oh, actually, has he been pain res yet? I don't think he has yet, because we still have access to 3 stacks here. 3, 2, 1, they need to be off that generator. Now, Gestrix, either he goes for the commit onto Effect, or he goes back to his gens, and he's opted to go back through his generators here, so this will hurt his progression as far as getting survivors out of the trial goes. But again, he's just forced into a position where he needs to attend to this generator, because if he doesn't, it's just going to be popped in the background, and it's going to be just in his face. So yeah, caught at a loss at the moment, so our survivors all currently taking the game slow. They're not quite on the back foot, they're not quite on the defense, but they're recollecting and they're going to reassess where their positions need to be, as we do see Effect now on a full health state, and that's going to be Lin off the hook in the background and Nias back on the generator. I would say at the moment they're in a very good position to be progressing the game forward. As we see Lin here, he does have access to Dead Hard, but isn't going to be able to use it after getting tagged like that. Is kind of forced over towards 12, and now Gestrix forced to go back to that generator over at short 6. We are getting the reset there over at top 12, and as we do take that kick onto that generator over at short 6, we are back on patrol. Now, it is dangerously high at the moment. I want to say about 60%, but there's no pressure on 3 and there's no pressure on Shaq. Now, if he can manage to down Lin at a time like this, which he's not, because there is a Dead Hard involved, and my oh my, was it a good Dead Hard, where we have 2 survivors left back on the generator. He really needs this down for his eruption proc. He's now playing around the outside of this crane pallet here, so it can prove to be pretty detrimental. Needs to win the mind game there, and does! And that's going to be Lin on the floor. The pallet save coming in, 3, 2, 1, Effect with it, oh, it misses it, no! And that's going to be redundant, doesn't matter. Survivors in the background have enough time to work this gen, get it done in the process, and bang, they have taken away the entire series 2-1. Heartbreaking, gut-wrenching for Gestrix. To see Adolescents go after an incredible series is just upsetting, but in all honesty, you got to hand it off to Chinese Dragons. You know, you're already seeing one favorite exit the entire tournament tonight, and it would be a shame if we had a second favorite. So you do still have Chinese Dragons advancing to the next stage of the finals. Well, they'll be versing the winner out of, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, it will be Saf and Nameless Kings, which will be happening next week. But I mean, wow, oh wow, did they play an amazing game.